My name is Elizabeth from Elizabeth Magical Garden. Here is where I empower women to reclaim their authentic power, embrace their inner wisdom, and transform life's most challenges. Transitions into profound opportunities for spiritual growth and self-discovery. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. Subscribe to the newsletter at Elizabeth Magical Garden, as well as check out my podcast at Elizabeth Magical Garden, which goes live every single. Hi, my name is Elizabeth from Elizabeth Magical Garden, a magical garden reaching for the stars. Guys, welcome back to the podcast. I pray that everybody is well. I pray that everybody is in great spirits. Guys, I wanted to take the time to say thank you. You guys was feeling the last episode. Be sure to check all the links down below. Every day there is a new blog post that goes live on my blog. So be sure to check that out. You guys just rock. You guys are the greatest supporters that I could ever imagine to have. So thank you. Today's course, we're going to be discussing time. And this has been put upon my heart because time is something that we're always feeling like we don't have enough of, right? Especially as we get older, we start to notice that time is even more valuable, right? When you're young and full of vitality, not saying that you're not saying that you're not, but let's just face it, when you're in your mid-age 50s, 60s, and 70s and beyond, time is extremely precious. During this course, we're going to zero in on how we can do a couple of things. Number one is our perception and the things that we hold within. How do we feel when it comes to even thinking about achieving the things that we want to do? As people are living longer, people are much more healthier because of education. You can live much longer than our predecessors did back then, right? So let me just read something to you. This is from a blog post that I wrote, and I wanted to move this over to this platform because I feel like this course is going to not only open up your way of thinking, but also alleviate fear, right? Because fear is not something that God has put upon our hearts. The sacred practice of intentional planning. Over the years of ministering to women seeking deeper purpose and spiritual alignment, I've witnessed a profound pattern. When women set sacred time aside to plan with intention to seek God's guidance for their projects, goals, and dreams, they experience a supernatural shift of momentum. This revelation led me to a question that changed everything. Is it truly a lack of time, or is it a lack of divine alignment and intentional planning? Philippians 4:13, remember the promise, I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. This isn't just a comforting verse. It's a blueprint for how we approach our time and our calling. And I want to stop right here. Our time and our calling. Because when I sat with this, I was also confronted. A couple of days ago, I was going back on some of my old videos. I'm talking about like 14 years ago. And I was looking at the person, which is myself, my past in my past life, and I'm listening to the inflection and tone. I'm looking at the young lady that took courage. I just came out of a divorce at the time. I just finished my cosmetology license. I got my license, and I had so much courage because usually you fall apart. Anybody that has gotten through something like that, it is a tearing of the soul. A lot of people, unfortunately don't even recover from. And having that courage to put myself in school as well as obtain my cosmetology license and meeting beautiful souls along my journey, it shifted something in me, and it took a lot of courage. It took so much courage. But at that time, I remember I was heavily in the church, and I at that time was going to a home-based church that I was going to, and the word was just floating in me. Yes, I was distraught. Yes, I was going through the things, but God is not linear. He did not place fear within me. And it took courage for me to start a new platform, which was YouTube at the time. I knew nothing about it. I remember I went to go take care of some paperwork for my job, and I came across this lady, and it's so funny. I only met her once, and she looked at me. She was so cute. Her hair was done. Her nails was done. She just looked so cute behind the desk, and she wrote something down, and she said, check me out. I have a YouTube channel. That was the first time I heard about YouTube. And I remember having that piece of paper, and I went home. I don't think I looked at it as soon as I got it, but it was just serendipity, because I remember finding the paper and writing it, putting it into the computer, what is this YouTube thing? Lo and behold, did I know that my life would change forever. I fell in love with the platform. I was taking in the infamy. It was like a whole new world opened up. It just opened up for me. And I remember consuming so much information, and I was looking at beauty bloggers at the time. One of my favorites, and I still follow her to this day. And it's so funny, now we're kind of I would say, social friends. She's such a beautiful. She has 3 kids now. Her name is Nitra B. Whenever I would say something, she's always she's really good at responding back, and just a beautiful soul. I seen this woman go through she was with her boyfriend, well, now husband, Colton, and the progression of that family, and now she has 3 beautiful kids. And being along and going alongside and seeing people throughout their lives, it's just such a blessing. When I was looking at my old videos and looking at the person, and I remember just being in awe, because I can remember how I felt. I was nervous, I was excited, and all the things, but yet I still found myself on this journey. Over decades later, here I am now, not only have made over 600 videos, I have created a platform. Outside of that, I have my blog, I have my podcast that I started, and also now we also have a YouTube channel for this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to that at Elizabeth Magical Garden Podcast. And I truly believe none of those things would have taken place if I didn't move forward despite of being fearful. Timing is something that we can always jump in or jump out of. I do believe in time travel. When I was looking at those videos from 14 years ago, that was a form of time traveling, right? And when you pause to write down your God-given goals and seek His direction, whether it's for the week, for the year, for the month. Guys, I'm always talking about writing in your journal. I've been professing this for years and years and years throughout this platform. And this is something that I will always profess because I know the power in words. I know the power when it comes to writing down your goals. And I do believe that when you are writing, it's a connection with the divine source, with the Most High God. You were created by the word. It only makes sense that when you sit down in sacred space, when you sit down with yourself and you start to write down the things that you know that you want in your life, when you start to write down the things that is pouring out of your heart, this is God alleviating, showing you that you too can manifest, you too can grow and build something into fruition that no one ever has done. And I know we live in a society where, everything is saturated, everything has been done. And I'm here to say that it's not true. The reason for that is because you, my friends, are original. There is no one that will ever have your particular perspective. And some of the things that comes through when you do take time to write, because when you take time to write, not only are you professing, not only are you growing, you're giving yourself the ability to think clearly. You're gaining back time. When you sit down to prepare, you are allowing yourself to be in alignment with your future. Your mind finds rest. Why? Because you no longer are carrying the weight of remembering everything. I don't know about you, but having every single thing in my mind and getting into my ego has never been a thing for me. I am, till this day, although I do have a digital planner and those are good too, I have that, but there's something about pen and paper. I just gifted myself over the Christmas holiday. I bought this cute little and I've been wanting this for so long, this little Louis planner, daily planner, and it's a bean, the one with the squares. Pardon me if I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but I love, and I got the pocket one. They have different sizes. I believe this is the PM. I love this particular planner. Not only is it cute, come on, I'm not going to act like vanity is not part of the game here, okay? Yes, I do feel cute when I take out my planner, but you do not have to have a planner from Louis, Gucci, or anything like that. This is just me being over the top, of course. But I have had planners that I stapled together. I created. I used to go to the 99-cent store and get those little children's notebooks and get stickers, and I would even get particular stickers to manifest, that had power, intention, good words like powerful, beautiful, great, you did good today. You can do whatever you want to do. This is just a graduation for me because I just wanted to treat myself. This is something I wanted for I don't even know how long. It's probably over 4 or 5 years that I wanted this. And I guess because I've always taken pleasure to create my own planners, that I didn't want to take that away from me. But, we graduated. We're a little more sophisticated, but don't get it twisted. I'm always still here for a good homemade planner. So you can do and make. You're here in this course to let you understand that you have the tools to create the things that will manifest, bring you back to center, heal you, allow you to know that, listen, just because you are middle age, just because you are in your 60s, your 70s, it doesn't mean that it's too late. This is all the more reason why dialing back and sitting down and writing things down and listening to that inner voice, right? Listening to
your spirit will allow you to take away the anxieties of having everything in your mind, because when you allow yourself to let go on paper, you get to now formulate a new world for yourself, which alleviates anxiety. And from someone that struggled in that area, writing things down is top tier. Your spirit gains clarity because you're operating from divine order, not chaotic reaction, right? Because when you align yourself and you center yourself, you start to realize all the things that you've been holding yourself back from stem from fear. Because why would God be so cruel to give you these dreams and aspirations and you're not able to achieve it? There is no such thing. If anything, we are the ones that holds us back. Anytime that I'm afraid of doing anything, I allow that to lead me into understanding that this is why I need to do it. Your dreams receive oxygen because you've created space for what truly matters in God's plan for you. I'm going to repeat that. Your dreams receive oxygen because you've created space for what truly matters in God's plan for you. And I truly believe that when you write things down, it's you breathing life, because I don't know about you. I've had planners for I've been writing all my life. Okay. I am a writer. I've been writing all my life. And whenever I look back on the things that I wrote, the things that I specifically said that I wanted to do in my life, I can check all those boxes. It's a miracle. It's literally a miracle. And writing things down does not have to. I want to say something here. When you write down your goals, when you take time to profess the things that you want in life, this is where faith comes in. It's none of your business on how, but this is how I'm going to make this, how am I going to open this business, how am I going to make this year. That's not what we are discussing in this course. This is for you to have faith, understanding that your ability to breathe oxygen into your dreams, this is the key factor. Think about it. When a woman is pregnant, right? When she finds out she's pregnant, this is it's not even, it's not even it's an embryo. It's not even formed. But yet she's excited. She's overwhelmed with joy. She's telling her mate. She's professing it to the world, right? She's shopping. She's creating this whole room, this whole year. She's looking for names and imagining, maybe he's gonna or she's gonna have your nose, your eyes, your lips. My uncle, I hope she has my grandmother's hair color. My grandmother's hair color she was a natural ginger. Okay, you didn't see this baby yet. This baby has not entered the world yet, but yet and still you believe in this life. Your dreams are no short of that. Scripture reminder. Okay, this is one of my favorites. Okay, in Proverbs 16:3, listen to this. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. When you commit your time to paper, you're not just organizing, you're partnering with the divine to establish his purpose in your life. Okay? These things are ordain. We are all creators. You were not put on earth to be a failure. You are not put in this earth to doubt yourself. And I understand things, life happens. There's so many things that's telling you to just sit down, move over. You're getting old now. You don't have it in you. You don't look the same. It's too late to go to school. It's too late to open up that business. It's too late to buy that house. It's too late to invest in yourself. Are you kidding me? As long as God see fit to open your eyes, it's never too late. And this is something that I believe in wholeheartedly. I've been blessed over the years to minister to so many different women. This is a calling that has been put on my life. I've been counseling women throughout my journey. I've worked with inner city children for over 2 decades. And one of the things that I realize is that everyone, when they put their head down and start to write down the things that they want in their lives, all of a sudden, it's like a whole new world opens up. And when they start to practice the things that I've been suggesting, it's just such a beautiful thing. I get I get emotional just thinking about it. Because when I was a little girl, I used to get a little in trouble a little bit, a little something, right? And I was just always a very inquisitive child. And I just had, let's just say I always danced to my own drum. With that being said, sometimes the drum was a little too loud and we just gonna leave that right there. So I had a lot of time on my hands, a lot of time because, I would find myself in punishment. my mother, trying to make sure that a little girl is safe, doing the right thing, and being being born, raised in Brooklyn, growing up in the city, it can be frightening for a single parent. So my mother did her best to protect me, which she did a great job of. So with that being said, a pen and a pad was always nearby because I would sit down and write down my thoughts. I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know what journaling was, but it felt natural for me to write how I felt down. And through that process, I would feel something in me. I would commune with God. I would feel the urge to create. This is something that has saved my life. I mentioned when I was going through a divorce, I remember I would go to work and I would have a journal and I would just write. I would just let everything pour out of me. And I mean, anything and everything. I just kept on writing. And before I knew it, I was like books down the line. It was to a point where I was just buying paper in droves. And I truly believe that this was God allowing me to heal. This was God showing me who I truly was, because pain can have you in a space where you no longer know who you are. And this is another reason why I always suggest to journal, because it is a form of meditation. It builds a practice of mindfulness, which allows you to understand and see, wow, I didn't know that this was a thing. I didn't know I was harboring these emotions. I didn't know that I wanted to go after this goal. And if it wasn't for writing, I don't know where I would be. Freedom is something that only time can give, right? This is why people work so hard, because not so much, oh, they just want to have money. They want a sense of freedom. Usually when people aspire and they get to a certain point in their career, you notice the higher they go, the more lavish the vacation time is, right? And a lot of time people can be fooled like, oh, you're working so hard, how much money? Well, first of all, you can never have too much money, in my opinion. Okay. Anybody that has acclaimed any amount of success, they would tell you the money is a catalyst to the freedom, right? Because when you have this medium, you can do more. You can do more, not just for yourself, because at one point it's only but so many designer bags, you know, facials, getting your hair done, shoes. It's only but so many things, luxury items, cars that you can buy, right? And then it comes to a point where it's like, well, what else can I do? You can help others. You can donate, right? I love animals, guys. You know, I am all this podcast is not called Elizabeth Magical Garden for no reason. Okay. I love green. I just love nature, and I love animals. So donating time, donating money, being able to be a healthy steward in this world means a lot to me. Right. And money, the more money you get, the more you're able to do for others in your community. Right? But how can you acclaim any type of success if you do not know what you want? How can you be free to help anyone if you are not free, if you are held captive within your own mind because you have the inability to sit with yourself and free yourself and free your mind and free your time through scheduling and preparing? Clouded judgment blocks creativity. Anxiety about the future paralyzes productivity. Who wants that? I'm sure not you. You want to be able, especially at this point of your life, because let's just face it, you probably already made the six figures. You probably already started the business, right? But even when you get to a particular space in time, you plateau. What comes up comes down. You plateau, and then you have to recalibrate. What necessarily got you to this point is not what's going to get you to the next level, right? And if you're walking around with clouded judgment, which is blocking your creativity, building anxiety about the future, and paralyzing your productivity, how are you going to get to the next level? Because the game doesn't stop, right? And with this precious life that God has blessed us with, why would you want to stop? I don't care if everybody else around you is feeling stagnant. One of the things I notice, right, because they have the inability to dream big, right? And this is something that I found myself going through when I turned 50. When I turned 50, it was confusing to me because it kind of just seemed like it's a thought process. You know, I remember coming from a nice walk and I seen this couple. They had gray hair at the time. I wasn't growing out my gray. Oh, sidebar, my gray is growing in so nicely, guys. Oh my God, I'm so excited. Anyway, I wasn't growing in my gray at the time. And I probably had like a weave in my hair or something like that. And I remember that was like around the time of my birthday, if not my birthday. And because whenever I'm blessed to get to another level, I like to wake up really early in the morning and go in nature and just give thanks to God. It's so peaceful. Hardly no one is out. And I just like to sit there with a cup of coffee and just gaze and just give thanks and just start preparing for myself for the next version of myself. I was walking back and this couple was before me, and I don't know how we got into conversation, but we did, as one do. And I disclosed that I turned 50, and they were looking at me like, oh, like your hair, like, like basically you don't look 50. And I was perplexed because I didn't understand like what what does 50 look like. And what I realize now is that it's a mindset, right? And it's no shade on that couple, but I find that when people get to a certain age, it's almost like, okay, now where's the knitting needles? And no shade to knitting, because I love to knit. And but basically, where's the rocking chair? Like, basically, where's the grave almost? Like, what are we doing here? No. God is a gracious God. And if he opened your eyes to see another day, it is imperative for you to make the best out of it. Not living in pain, not living in anxiety. Yeah, you might have aches and pain physically, but your mentality, your ability to show up for yourself, to show up for life, that is something, my dear. That is a gift. It's your responsibility to shed those thoughts, because guess what? We're showing the ones after us how to be. Okay? So when you surrender your week to God through intentional planning, you create a clear channel for his wisdom to follow. And I truly believe that. Right? And this is, I want to be clear. This is not just a sermon of me telling you, oh, thou shalt. No, this is a relationship. This is a relationship with the divine order. This is a relationship with the creator. Because regardless of what or whom you believe in, we came from divine source. We came from love. God loved us so much that he chose to use his word to create us. Think about it. And if he could do that for us, do you really think that the word stops with him? No, my friends, it was just the beginning. There is life and death in the tongue. Beware of how you speak upon yourselves. And this is another reason why I suggest writing, because when you get these downloads and you start to write, you filter out the minutia. You clear out all the cloudy judgment. So now when you are starting to interact and you are moving about your day, you are more able to have a positive attitude towards life, which will allow you to speak life into your life. Rather than be that person, that person when you go to work and every time you say, oh, how's your week? Oh, it's just another weekend. How's your day? Just another, those people. And it's no shade, but I feel sorry. I do. And it's not to say that you're going to always have a bright day. It's not to say that everything is always going to show in its best light, but how you show up, you have the power. Because I don't care what is happening in life, it's still a beautiful day. Because you woke up this morning. The transformation that has taken place in some of the women that I've worked with has shared with me how they felt and how this newfound way. And the thing is, right? It's not that the writing is such a new thing. It's to practice. It's to practice, because writing is a practice. When you sit down every day, preferably in the morning, but you can do this in the evening, it is a practice, right? It is a transformation, because what starts to happen, you start to, through the mindfulness, through understanding thyself, right? Because you can't move forward if you don't know who you are. And writing will definitely help you with that. The spiritual practice of planning with divine intention has been revolutionary for the women in my community. They discover a liberating truth. Let's just face it, time expands when you align it with God's will. And planning becomes a prayer in action. I'm going to repeat that. Time expands, right? Time expands when you align it with God's will. And planning becomes prayer in action. When you sit down with yourself, you're sitting with God, because God is within you. And when you start to plan, something happens. You are giving birth to a new version of yourself. You're giving birth to a thought process. Every single thing that you own and will ever own came from a plan. Somebody took the time to sketch out that chair and bring it to a craftsman to bring it forth into reality. This person didn't say, well, I'm going to create this chair, but nobody's going to be able to bring it forth. Well, why even take the time to design this thing? Because you know what? No one is going to be able to bring it forth. We all have this internal belief that if I create it, it shall be. There's a big statue of David, from the Bible. And if it wasn't a dream, if it wasn't a divine intention, how would that be able to be crafted? When you go to the Metropolitan Museum, do you see the artwork there? What about if those individuals, those famous individuals, whether Michelangelo or Bach, when he created those symphonies, what if they just said, you know what? Yeah, it's in my head, but I'm just going to leave it there, because no. The dream was so big that they had to give birth to the art. Centuries and centuries later, we are still enjoying the courage it took to put forth to build something that has never been crafted. It takes courage to believe. It takes courage to have faith. It takes courage to move forward when everything is telling you to go backwards. When I looked at those videos over 14 years ago, that version of myself, she had courage. There was no one making videos that I knew. There was no one vlogging that I knew personally. But I did it anyway. When I was going through my dark night of the soul, I created anyway. This very platform I created when I was going through a very tough time in my life, but I created it anyway. So, as I conclude this course, I just want to take the time out to read something to you. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like angels. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:31. Guys, this concludes this segment of the course. Leave a comment down below, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you guys for being such a great steward of this platform. I appreciate each and every one of you. I pray that you guys found something worthy in this course. If you did, shout me out. Head on over to my vlog channel. I would love to have you on that community. Subscribe to the podcast channel at Elizabeth Magical Garden Podcast. As I mentioned, there is a new post every single day. All the links are down below. Guys, stay blessed, stay in peace, and stay empowered. Peace. Hey guys, leave a comment, a review, preferably 5 stars. And don't forget to check me out on Instagram, because what is popping over there? And also check out my YouTube channel to stay connected and see your girl's lovely face. Guys, I love you so much. Keep on pushing, and I'll definitely speak to you soon. Be blessed.